Ball in a cup, ball in a cup, it's a ball in a cup. Ball in a cup, ball in a cup.
Family Guy has made it impossible for us to ever see a wacky, waving, inflatable arm tube man without immediately thinking of their commercial. So tell us, is there any other things that you see in public that makes you think of the Griffins or other cartoon franchises? Let us know in the comments.
Number 10. Mentos. Do you remember those Mentos commercials where someone needs a creative solution to a dilemma and somehow gets one by Mentos in their mouth?
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life, with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Family Guy did their own version in their first season, in a way only they can. Outside of Ford's theater, John Wilkes Booth struggles to get a shot at Abraham Lincoln. He then has an epiphany, takes a Mentos, and heads inside. When he gets to the balcony, he shoots through Lincoln's hat, prompting the president to turn around and give him an "Oh, you" gesture.
Mentos fresh and sweet, Mentos fresh in your life.
Mintos, the fresh maker.
This nonsensical scenario reminds us of how much old Mentos ads didn't really make any sense. It was the perfect ad for Family Guy to take to the extreme in their own way.
These commercials are stupid.
They certainly don't make me want a Minto.
Totally ineffective.
Must kill Lincoln.
Number 9. Fingernailsforcash.com. For some reason, almost everyone is familiar with the local Cash for Gold dealer due to some low-quality commercials with obnoxious jingles.
I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your gold, oh yeah.
Family Guy's version featured a man singing along to a piano riff asking to send in your fingernails for cash.
Everyone has fingernails and everyone wants cash. So send us all your fingernails and we'll send you some cash.
Although we'd love to know why they went with this bizarre idea, we can't say it isn't hilarious. Especially the part where a man reveals his intention to build a fort out of fingernails.
Just take the cash and don't ask why we want your fingernails, 'cause we might be building a fort with them.
Fingernailsforcash.com. You get the cash, we get to build a fort with your fingernails.
It's a grossly humorous bit that reminds us of the show's take on the Tooth Fairy, who collects teeth for personal pleasure. Number 8. Cereal commercials. Family Guy has been through a lot of cereal mascot jokes, as well as quite a few commercial parodies. It's so difficult to pick just one that we're going to highlight our favorites.
Post Raisin Bran, made with raisins which are grapes that have been dried in the sun for a long period of time.
There's a 1950s Raisin Bran commercial in which the ingredients are explained in hilarious detail multiple times. We also see a commercial for Trix in which the bunny isn't much of a pushover.
Sumo Tonight, brought to you by Asian Tricks.
Silly rabbit, Twix are for kids.
You shall!
And a Cheerios commercial featuring Peter as the caring dad. The latter is particularly hilarious. As an innocent child asks his father what he wanted to be when he grew up, he's told his unexpected arrival ruined his father's dreams to be a rock star.
I smiled at one girl in a cell phone store, and now here I am stuck eating cereal for dinner with a kid.
You'll always be a rock star to me, Dad.
You ruined my life. I'm going to bed.
Number 7. Cheetos.
By God, I'm cooler than that cheetah from the commercials.
Chester Cheetah has been around for roughly 4 decades, and there's just no way to think of Cheetos without seeing the orange big cat with sunglasses.
I'm a cool daddy-o, rocking on the patio. When before my very eyes, I see cheese materialize.
If you're looking for something else you can't unsee, Family Guy presents a version of the beloved mascot that's a little too into his own product. As he indulges in bad habits, Rush plays in the background, and Chester crushes a glass in enthusiasm, getting shards in his hands.
Oh, God, there is no drummer better than Neil Peart!
It ain't easy being cheesy.
This ad gives a new meaning to the slogan, "It ain't easy being cheesy." Looks like Chester needs to lay off the cheese. Maybe even go to rehab. Number 6. Juicy fruit.
They found us, kid. We're going back to base. Just as soon as I grab some powder with these skiing young people.
Anyone who grew up in the 80s or 90s remembers Juicy Fruit commercials. They often featured a group of young people engaged in some exciting activity while chewing copious amounts of Juicy Fruit gum. After all, the taste will allegedly move ya.
Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It chews so soft, it gets right to ya.
So why mess with nostalgic perfection? In one of their famous Star Wars specials, Peter's Han Solo takes a moment to go skiing with some friends. We then see a basically shot-for-shot remake of 1991's skiing Juicy Fruit commercial. What's great about this one is that there's no major deviation or satirical jokes. It's just the same commercial animated.
Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
Number 5. Nike. You know those inspirational sports gear commercials? Nike is guilty of many of them, and this didn't go unnoticed by our friends at Family Guy.
If greatness doesn't come knocking at your door, maybe you should go knock on its door.
In Peter's version, he speaks of going the distance, pushing your limits, and taking things one step further. This, of course, results in complete nonsense. It begins with the typical push yourself physically stuff, as Peter goes from running a mile to running a marathon. It then spirals into having 3 families, executing them all, and ending up on death row.
Don't go to the funeral, because remember, you got 2 other families to deal with and a marathon to train for. Don't just let Kenneth walk out of your life. Take his life from him.
This commercial does an excellent job at parodying the inspirational tone Nike commercials go for. And bonus point to the ending tagline.
Nike. You may not notice, but our full name is Nikel.
Number 4. Wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing Tubeman.
Wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing Tubeman. Wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing Tubeman. Wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing Tubeman.
Any fan of the series is familiar with this one. Al Harrington and his shipping error have resulted in a warehouse full of those Tubemen often seen flailing wildly outside of car dealerships. Now, he wishes to pass those savings on to you!
Attract customers to your business. Make a splash at your next presentation. Keep grandma company. Protect your crops. Confuse your neighbors.
The full commercial highlights the benefits of owning one of these innovative wonders. You can keep grandma company, show your enthusiasm in church, and confuse your neighbors. The thing about this commercial is it really clears up where one can purchase a Tubeman.
Whatever your wacky waving inflatable arm flailing Tubeman needs are. So come on down to Al Harrington's wacky waving inflatable arm flailing Tubeman Emporium and Warehouse. Route 2 in Weekapog!
It also has a Star Wars version.
Intergalactic proton-powered electrical tentacled advertising droids. Intergalactic proton-powered electrical tentacled advertising droids. Intergalactic proton-powered electrical tentacled advertising droids.
Number 3. Butter spread. The 80s and 90s kids will remember the old campaign for an apparently impressive margarine product that featured only a couple's hands. They would gesture towards it, discussing the product and butter their toast.
Stick around, I'm on a roll. Let me in a muffin.
As usual, Family Guy took it to the next level.
Hey, is that new butter substitute?
It sure is.
The man asks the woman about the product and then attempts to get some on his butter knife, only to be refused. His extreme response is to stab his partner's hand. Her response is to reveal that she has hepatitis.
Hey, joke's on you, I have hepatitis.
Clearly, the relationship in this version has some serious problems that the couple from the original ads didn't. Number 2. Pepperidge Farm. Pepperidge Farm seems to keep tabs on a lot of things. They always remember.
Pepperidge Farm raisin bread. You see, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
While we recall the time Futurama parodied the commercial, Family Guy elevated the joke.
Remember those sweet, warm New England summers? Remember sipping lemonade underneath a shady tree? Remember when you hit that pedestrian with your car at the crosswalk and then just drove away? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Peter Griffin's program made the company sound a little threatening. Family Guy's Pepperidge Farm guy even remembers the time you hit a pedestrian with your car and just drove off. Buying some of their famous Milano cookies might just make the problem go away.
Maybe you go out and buy yourself some of these distinctive Milano cookies. Maybe this whole thing just disappears.
The blackmail version of the commercial is hilarious. Imagine the old guy on his wagon coming by your place and eyeing you suspiciously. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Pillsbury Doughboy. Our beloved doughy friend gets rolled.
Nothing says I love you like something from... Hey, what the hell are you doing, you crazy bitch?
These ought to cheer Brian up. Cinnamon buns are his favorite.
Wilkins Hyundai and Subaru. A classic monotonous athlete advert.
At Wilkins Hyundai and Subaru, we have Hyundais and Subarus.
Army recruitment. A normally serious U.S. Army commercial gets wild and adds a catchphrase.
The U.S. Army. Oh, yeah! Your experience may differ.
Pawtucket Patriot Ale, a refreshing beverage on a New England beach.
Pawtucket Patriot, the perfect beer for New England beaches.
Sanguelto, the blood thinner for gray-haired folks.
Thanks to Sanguelto, I can snuggle with my age-appropriate wife on a blanket underneath non-holiday-related fireworks. I left her for 6 weeks back in 2009, only to realize I was already too old to bed the type of women that would make such a separation worth it.
Number 1. All Fruit. This is another commercial from the 80s, and Peter is kind enough to explain the reference after the fact.
Please pass the All Fruit.
Pass the Polana All Fruit.
Pass the Polana all fruit.
Would you please pass the jelly?
Polana All Fruit had a commercial in 1989 that featured an unruly man at a breakfast referring to the all fruit as jelly. This outraged the fellow diners and even made an older woman faint.
Would you please pass the jelly?
Polana All Fruit is real fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice. You'll call it delicious, you'll call it remarkable, but please, don't dare call it jelly.
Family Guy recreates the commercial and has Peter appear in an editing room to show the original and describe the situation.
Okay, watch. Here's where it all goes to hell.
Would you please pass the jelly?
See, he called it jelly. All right, now what I don't get is, if they know this guy, why are they surprised by the way he talks? Right? And if they don't know him, why is he at the table?
This is then followed by another parody of the ad, as now that we are enlightened, we will better understand the joke.
I'll have the aspic. I too will have the aspic. Could you please pass the beef jelly?
Oh! Huh? See? Now aren't you glad we did all that work earlier?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.